Hello everybody. Today you and me and my cat are going to be talking about one of my favorite comic books of all time, um, and trying out a new brush and ink that I got. So I'm really excited about this. I'm going to jump right into it. I have been wanting the coveted Sable #2 brush and an inkwell for a long time. This is what the comic book people use. So I picked this one up. This is a Winsor and Newton #2 University series. So if you're not familiar, a university series or an academy, anything labeled like that, is still good quality, but it is designed for students to learn with rather than being a really expensive product for a professional. It's gonna maybe not last quite as long, but so far everything I have tried, the quality has been fantastic. So way better than like a craft quality product, and I wanted to try it. So it's not real sable fur, it's synthetic. And you can see I have already used it a little bit because I already filmed this video once and then deleted it because I'm dumb. But it's going to be all the better because I found out some more information since the first time I filmed it. And then I have, this is Speedball Super Black India ink. This was recommended, I believe, by Scott McCloud in one of his books or his website or something as kind of a quality but fairly cheap ink compared to some of the really high-end ones. It does say waterproof on there. I tested it. It's not waterproof. Yep, it's in here. This is just a scrap piece of Bristol books that's got stains and stuff on it. But you can see my cat likes the it's just a scrap piece of Bristol books that's got stuff on it. But this is from the first time I filmed the video. I tested it. This was after the ink seemed dry. It still smudged pretty bad, and then I think you can see right in there it's quite resistant to water after a few days of drying, but it will still smudge a little bit. So I will probably try it with some watercolor just to see if the smudging after a few days is bad enough to be able to tell that it has smudged, if you can even see it, but it's an experiment for a later day. So, the book we are discussing today is the Masterplan by Scott Mills. This is a book from, I believe, 2003 from Top Shelf. Yep, 2003. It's got this sort of loose brush inking style in black and white, so I thought it would be perfect for this video. The science fiction comic, and the basic plot is that this scientist in the fairly near future comes up with a master plan to stop the heat death of the universe. It involves time travel and also his relationships with his estranged brother and his ex-wife. So it kind of combines this really broad, expansive plot with kind of a more intimate one. Those are the main three characters. There are a couple of others, but it's mainly those three. And it's absolutely brilliant. So I had marked some pages to try out and then took the bookmark out because I thought I was done filming. I do want to try kind of a just some simple kind of dialogue panels, not a big huge art spread, because that's what I said I wanted to try in the Century video. So this will do fine. To do a quick sketch here. And I have seen people say that all of Scott Mills' characters look the same, and I don't feel like that's the case. I mean, there aren't that many, and one of them has a beard, so they look quite different. He has done several other books. This is one of the interesting things I wanted to mention. He did several other books before this one book after this one. I enjoyed all of them. This one is definitely the highest quality plotting as far as I'm concerned, but I'm also partial to sci-fi, and some of his earlier stuff was not sci-fi. So he did this, and then he did one more comic after this, and then he disappeared. I could not find any trace of him after that. There's a Scott Mills who does like surreal wildlife painting, and I don't think it's the same person. There's a business writer. There's a British like radio host. None of them seem to be the same person. His website used to be scottmills.net. I found linked in some old media about his comics, but that's not accurate anymore. It's a blog in Vietnamese that from Google Translate doesn't seem to have anything to do with art or anything like that, so it's a different person. Yes, so if you're Scott Mills, I love your work. The Masterplan is one of my favorite comics of all time. I first read it in 2010, and again in 2014, and again right before I filmed this the first time. And I love how simple it is, but I think the simplicity is kind of deceiving. That's one of the things I was impressed by about the book is, or the art, is that it looks really simple in terms of there's not very many lines, but the composition takes some work. Kitty cat. You're smudging my art, you're going to get ink on your posies, it's going to be a tragedy. So one of the things I really like about the art is, as you can see, it's got such a really simple sort of swooshy look to it, and a lot of the lines don't actually connect. And I felt like that gave it, especially rereading it, paying particular attention to the art, I felt like that gave it this kind of through looking through a fog, through a glass darkly sort of look, that really, by creating that distance where it doesn't look hyper realistic, it makes you work harder to see what's happening and to process what's happening, and then involves you even more. So I'm trying to mimic that a little bit. I don't know, I found maybe one old interview with him about the Masterplan, I think. Nothing else on the internet, so I don't know if this might have been digital, what kind of digital art stuff was available in 2003. I don't know if he did pencil sketches first and then ink over them. I know he said in that interview that he did thumbnails of the whole book first, but I don't know if he, drew directly over them, or if he would just take that as an inspiration. So for this, I'm just sort of drawing as I see lines. I'm not sketching it out beforehand, because I want to kind of experiment with that looseness. And one thing I noticed the first time I recorded this was this thing with the eyes, where I first just did little swooshes, but they actually look more like eyes if you give them a kind of a little pupil. Even though the eye shape is not shaped like an eye at all, it really gives the eye some expression. And I love, love, love this ink, or just ink in general, I guess. I realized I was kind of convinced that I would not like anything as much as a brush pen. I thought I wouldn't have the kind of control that I want, but you actually get a lot more control over the ink flow with the brush and the inkwell. I can't really see what I'm doing as well as I would like because I'm at an angle so that you can see, so when I'm first putting down lines they're reflective and I can't really see what I'm doing, but under normal circumstances you get a lot of control. You can get quite thin lines, comparatively speaking, and then quite large ones, and the brush holds quite a lot of ink. I did find that it was basically impossible to get a thin line with a full brush, even wiping it off like that. When I first put it down, it's gonna be fairly thick no matter what I do. So that's a really simple sketch of the head of the main character. Kind of close. I feel like my maybe gestural sense wouldn't be refined enough, or maybe my sense of faces. They say in every video I'm autistic. I don't really look at faces the same way other people seem to, and I wonder if I don't know instinctively enough about how the expressions are formed to be able to just cartoon like this without something to go from. But I love looking at that kind of expressiveness. And I think it's really used, again, to create this kind of impression of this story that you really then kind of engross yourself in the more you look at those gestural drawings and the expressions that the characters make. And there might be scientific professional words for that kind of stuff, but I don't know what they are. And we've also got some kind of space scenes. I was going to show you, I wanted to try some more traditional inking. So these are some Jack Kirby pencils that I inked yesterday and this morning. I will link where I got this scan in the description. But on the left side here was just brush, and then on the right was brush and a fine liner pen. So you can really tell the difference between this is really thick, inky work over here, but it's got a lot of kind of gestural impact, and then you can see more of the defined look on the right. So I do like both of them. I think it just depends on what style you're going for and what impression you want your comics to have. And I can't say I know which one I really prefer yet, or if I want to be able to do both of them. but I'm pretty sure I would want some kind of drawing to at least copy, you know, a sketch of my own to copy if I was going to do something like this. I had not tried lettering yet, and so I just wanted to try a little hand lettering. If my cat will let me. I think probably this would go better with a brush pen, because you can predict it a little bit more. It's not quite as loose. But I just really, really like this. Because my problem with every pen so far that I had tried in the store or at home is not enough ink. I want to be able to get it on the page and then move it a little bit. Obviously where you put it, it's gonna stay, but I like being able to shape it. So if you make a line and then kind of zhuzh it out a little bit, put it where you want it. You can do some dry brushing. You can do dry brushing a lot easier with a brush and an inkwell, because you can just get your brush dry. You don't have to wait for your brush pen to wear out. So that's nice. You can do splattering. I think the range of stuff you can accomplish with this added to your fine liner pens is really exciting for comics particularly. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. This is sort of my second impressions of a brush pen since a brush and ink, because we lost the first ones, but I can tell you with more authority that Scott Mills has not been seen since 2005, and also that I love this. So let me know if you have any tips or tricks for this, or if you have any word from Scott Mills, because I would like him to write some more comics for me to love. And if you read the Masterplan, let me know what you thought. Have a great day.